Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a while. It feels like I've been gone for a couple of weeks. Welcome back to Recency Bias Radio. I am your humble host, Dave Smith. And in this episode, in this rant, we're going to get into a lot of things, but we're going to do something that we haven't done before, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to compare two different shows to each other. So in this episode, for the first time ever, to celebrate the 10th rant, I will be comparing a lot of your Big Brother faves to Game of Thrones characters. This will be a good episode. I've done some research on it. I promise to not spoil Game of Thrones too much because I have a feeling a lot of people aren't into it yet. But this is just me not only trying to get people that may have never given the show a chance, maybe giving them some type of incentive to go ahead and binge it. And also on top of that, this is also me trying to make some fun out of this week because let's be honest, this entire week in the Big Brother house has been toxic for the most part, which is why I haven't been tweeting about it all week. So without further ado, welcome. This is the domain where no one is safe from criticism. And we're going to go ahead and jump into it. So Josh wins HOH, and I gave you guys my predictions over what I thought would happen in between this rant and the last rant. And for the most part, I was completely correct. Jess is a sitting duck. Raven's on the block. Shocked by that. So now you have Raven, you have Jess, and you have, who else is on the block with them? Oh, yeah, Elena. Okay, Mark won the veto, took himself off, yada, 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 yada. Tonight's episode is probably just going to be the POV competition, and they're going to focus more on Cody and Jessica. But for this episode, I'm going to break down why I have a problem with a lot of these Josh fans. You know, why does it seem like every week that goes by, they get louder and louder? At first, he was too much of a buffoon for them to truly stand for. Like, I'm not even going to trip, because at the beginning of the season, I was a fan of the guy too. So I understood the fanfare, right? Then he gets to a specific moment where I'm like, okay, this guy is a puppet. He doesn't even hold his own nuts. He plays the victim card. He cries when women say things to him. And then he comes back with an idea that was indoctrinated into his mind by Paul. And then all of a sudden he thinks he's some type of Big Brother all-star, some type of great villain. So for me, it was a shock to see Josh spitting, well, not spitting, but talking any type of game this week, because the first 6 weeks of the game, he's been doing nothing. He hasn't been talking any game. And it's funny because I listen to a lot of Rob has a podcast, Rob's sister Nino, and he always says, you know, after watching Big Brother for as long as I have, I've come to the realization that the smartest game plan is to just fall asleep. Fall asleep for the first 4 weeks of the game, and you won't be a target by anyone. Play the middle, let them go at each other, make jury, then make your moves to make it to the end. You know, up until this season, I kind of agreed with Rob's take on it. Now, all of a sudden, after seeing all of these betas, floaters, and recruits make it to the jury house for some funky $8 grand, they don't even care about how they're perceived. I mean, Alex, before the game even started, she said, oh, I don't care about winning this season. I just want to make it back on the All-Star season. So that's pretty much her incentive for sucking Paul's dick the whole season. Okay, Raven's been giving Matt several hand jobs behind the scenes. That can't make it on the edit, but they can throw Cody under the bus to protect Paul. You know, that's a little off subject. But all I'm saying, though, is Jess came into this game with the same mindset. What did she say, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, I'd rather win my second time like Nicole did. So we're dealing with a lot of players here who have the mindset of, oh, I'll get a second chance, so I need to do everything on my first chance to guarantee I have one. Jess, kudos to you. You have done enough to guarantee your second chance. Would I have wanted you to go about getting this second chance much differently? Of course. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. You got to live with the hand that you were given. And honestly, the hand that she was given was a very powerful hand. Usually, the showman's alliance or the powerful showman's of the house, usually they're guaranteed to at least make it to jury together. You know, we've seen it several times in the past. I mean, Shelly and Clay, you know what I'm saying? Even that alliance, which felt like mother and son a little bit sometime of the way, even that alliance stretched. So that's all I really want to say on that note. But all in all, though, I feel like this entire house is an entire letdown. There is no more heroes. Jess is most likely going to leave at the end of this week. I'm gonna save all the rest of that stuff to the prediction part of this podcast. But I want to get into what makes these Big Brother players similar to Game of Thrones characters. Now, once again, I'm going to leave out as many spoilers as I can, but bear with me here because I'm going to make a lot of sense out of what I'm telling you. Jess, she is Daenerys Targaryen, okay? She is the queen of dragons. She is the breaker of chains, okay? Jess, she is against the status quo. She is trying her best to break the wheel. The wheel wasn't created by Paul, but production created the wheel, okay? Production, I call them the White Walkers, okay? Paul is who I call Littlefinger, okay? Paul thinks he's so smart. He thinks everything that he's doing is for the sake of taking the throne. He thinks he has the throne in his eyesight. But the truth is, he's been giving so much help to all these other different houses, if you will, that Paul is setting himself up to be the person that takes the fall in the long run. Jon Snow is Cody. We know Jon Snow doesn't like Peter Baelish, okay? We know he doesn't, okay? And now we see why it's so important for someone like Khaleesi to work with someone like Jon Snow. In this game, them two together, they stir so much paranoia, so much attention. You know, I'm hearing about this week, everyone wants to talk about bullying. Bullying. See, this is why I don't want to be on Twitter this week. Because all people want to do is have a penis measuring contest and talk about, oh, well, I was harassed last week this way, so I can harass you this way this week. Like, fuck out of here, bro. You are not allowed to say you're worthy to bully someone else if all you want to do is spread awareness on bullying. And this is where I get back to Josh. He's the HOH this week. If he would have been holding his own nuts for the first 6 weeks of this game, he wouldn't be in a position right now where he wants to make a certain move, but he can't make that move. And now all of a sudden, he wants to make it seem like Jess is the one that don't want to listen. I had to debate with a lot of people on Twitter about this. What do y'all motherfuckers want out of Jess? Can we just, let's get to the brass tacks. What do y'all want out of Jess? This guy, Josh, has been acting like a damn buffoon for the past 5 weeks. This guy, Josh, has gone out of his way to... Damn, Siri just said some shit to me out of nowhere. This motherfucker, Josh, has gone out of his way to throw salt on Cody's wound during a veto ceremony in which Josh got pulled off by Paul and Cody was guaranteed to go home. This guy, Josh, has done everything he can to be petty. Meanwhile, he keeps talking about how, oh, they're bullies, I'm a human being. Meanwhile, there's another 8 house guests in this house that has treated him like dog shit, but he's too much of a pussy to come at them the same way. Why? Because if he comes at them that way, now he's on the bottom with Cody and Jess. And he doesn't want that. So miss me with the bullshit that this motherfucker is some Robin Hood of bullying, okay? That's not what he is. Okay, he's a self-exploitation artist. Okay, Josh wants all of you to feel sorry for him, and he's got y'all hook, line, and sinker right now. He's got y'all hook, line, and sinker right now. I got motherfuckers coming up to me, and shout outs to Nessa. I think Nessa's a very, very nice woman on Twitter. I got into a nice little debate with her involving Cody and Josh. Her takes on Cody, they're perfectly fine. But I will stand by my opinion when it comes to Cody and Josh. Cody is necessary to the storyline because he's the only one who's willing to take out Paul, whereas no one else is. So if we don't have Cody in this story, whether you look at him as a protagonist or whether you look at him as the antagonist, he is necessary to the storyline. Now, please explain to me how Josh is necessary to the story. I'll wait. Paul could still be in control the exact same way if Josh isn't here, right? Right. Okay. The HOH that Josh won was a crapshoot. Anyone could have won, right? Right. He hasn't spoken any game with anyone for virtually 5 weeks unless Paul basically forces him to talk game, right? Right. So now you have 3 reasons why Josh is more than enough replaceable. Now take Cody, okay? Cody is the prince who was promised, okay? Without Cody in this game, we would have no rootable interest because we wouldn't see a clash. We wouldn't even see the drama we have now on the feeds. People can say Cody is boring as much as they want, but Cody creates animosity, which takes away from the boringness, okay? Truth, right? Well, my whole thing, though, with Josh is he's Theon Greyjoy. He's Reek, okay? Josh has been broken, all right? Throughout this Game of Thrones, Josh has been broken. Phone's ringing. Josh has been broken so much to the T, to his core, to whereas now Every time he wants to revert back to the person he truly is, he has a reek moment, and he has some PTSD that shoots him back up Paul's anus. That's the truth. You guys are rooting for Theon right now, and you don't even realize it. Okay? I wanted to root for this cat. He's a person of color. I wanted to assume that he would play the game a certain way that could be respected. But copying off of other people and not playing the game until week 6, that isn't respected. Josh is going to be dragged to the end. Dragged to the end. And y'all going to be sitting there like, well, he could take out Paul right now in Final 5 and he could still win. No one in that jury is going to pick him. Nobody. That man sitting next to Raven, he loses. He's sitting next to Christmas, he loses. He's sitting next to Paul, he loses. Now you got to ask yourself, who in his alliance can he beat? He can't beat Jason, he's a father. He can't beat Kevin, he's a father. Okay, so that's 5 people. Who else can he beat? Who else can Josh beat on this side that he is so pinned down towards? Who can he beat? Can someone answer this question? And now I want to get to you Josh fans that come at Jess a certain way because she doesn't want to listen to the bullshit that Josh is spewing. Here's the thing. If Josh was actually good at this game, number one, he would have told Jessica and Cody. He would have had the wherewithal to pull them to the side before the temptation competition and let them know that he wants to target Elena. But he didn't have the heart to do that because he knew they wouldn't trust him, and rightfully so, because he acted like a fucking buffoon, okay? That's the behavior of someone that has guilt on their brain. That's number one. Number two, he was so caught up in the fact that he had power that he didn't even know what to do with it, okay? All right, and I'm going to get into Christmas Rousey, or as I like to call her, Cersei Lannister. Oh, I'm going to get into that later. Don't worry. I got y'all, man. Only at Recency Bias Radio do you get this shit. These are gems, baby. These are gems. So anyway, so Josh, okay? This motherfucker's trying to tell me that Jess should have threw Josh a bone. She should have took his word for it and trusted him, okay? All right, well, here's the thing. Jess made herself the 3rd nominee on purpose because she knew she couldn't trust him. If Josh was smart, he would have said that to her. Matter of fact, if Josh was smart during the nomination ceremony, he wouldn't have thrown all that shade towards Jess, which made her say, oh, I forgot it's the Josh show. You have to really think, ladies and gentlemen. You can't just say that Josh is somehow has this dormant gameplay ability, but then give him a pass for never utilizing it. That's kind of like what Jess fans were doing over the past 4 weeks, no? You guys are becoming the new Jess fans. You are giving Josh a pass for poor gameplay because he's not being targeted right now. And that's stupid to me because the reason why Josh isn't being targeted is because he's a buffoon who can't win. Like, I mean, come on. This is like saying Victoria from Big Brother 16 was a good game player because she made it to the final 3. Like, huh? What? ¿Qué? No habla inglés? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, bro. Just because you make it longer in the game don't mean you're a better player. It could just mean that you've been sucking kneecaps a little bit longer. Okay? And honestly, I don't have a problem with what Jess and Cody did. It's like I say, we're all revisionist historians. If Cody would have, okay, so recap, Cody won the temp comp, right? Like I said he would, right? All right, so let's say Cody wins that, Jess wins veto, or Christmas doesn't make the stupidest move in Big Brother history, I think, of the past 6 seasons at least, by using her one temptation. I don't see the point of that. America gave you a temptation just so you could screw the one person America wants to win it, win the game. Like, what the fuck are you doing? But anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna get into Christmas Rousey. I'm gonna get into Cersei, but Cersei Rousey. but all in all, Josh, it's like, my G, you haven't built up any type of credibility with any of these people. Now, all of a sudden, you want to talk game and you think that because you have power, people should listen to you. Why should Jess believe you're running your HOH and Paul isn't? Paul is in your room every fucking day. He's pretty much already designated it as the place he will sleep because there's no beds left. You know, what incentive does Jess has to listen to you? You don't even have a vote this week, my G. You don't even have a vote, okay? So all these people defending Josh and trying to crucify Jess. Now all of a sudden everyone's agreeing with me. Oh, Jess is a bad game player. I don't want to hear it. Don't at me. It's funny. When I was saying that shit, people was like, oh, stop it. She couldn't save Dom. A week later, oh, stop it. She couldn't save, who was the next motherfucker? She couldn't save Ramses. Oh, stop it. Then the next week, come on, Jess. Don't save Cody. She doesn't save Cody. Oh, she should have never saved Cody. Everybody waits until some shit is over with before they speak their minds. But see, this is what you don't get from Recency Bias Radio. I make all of these episodes before some shit goes down live. That way y'all can always come back and say, hey, this motherfucker took a chance. He took a leap of faith. Because I believe in what I see and what I hear. I'm good with reading body language. I'm not just completely just throwing an idea into the wind and hoping the shit sticks, okay? But all in all, man, I'm just tired of the way people are painting Josh as the victim here. If both sides are doing fucked up shit, then neither side is the victor, okay? They both are fucking up. But at the end of the day, one side is 2 versus like 8. The other side is like 8 versus 2. So even though the 2 aren't in the right, and the 8 aren't in the right, you still have to be much more of a bitch to come at 2 people with 8 instead of coming at 2 people with just 2. Okay? So we can keep splitting hairs over this petty shit until the season is over. But let's change the like Twitter right now. Type in the BB19 hashtag right now. It's gonna like every other tweet is about bullying, body shaming. Like, first off, look, Josh is a grown-ass fucking man. I've never heard a grown-ass man say, you're body shaming me. I've never heard that shit, okay? I've heard of slut shaming. I've heard of Game of Thrones shaming. but body shaming, a grown-ass man getting body shamed. You know, you have to give the person power who's disrespecting you when you call it body shaming. You know, you could just dismiss everything they're saying altogether and move on with your day. You're the fucking HOH. But see, Josh's fans right now, they're grasping for something. They want him to have some type of respect that he hasn't earned yet. You know, he's a human being. You can't say that to him. Meanwhile, they compartmentalize all of these excuses for why it's okay to say negative things about Cody. Look, it's not right to say any of these things about anybody. But the term body shaming, come on, man. Do you need a fucking handkerchief? When did we get so damn soft? Dom went through some real shit. And y'all out here complaining about this soft ass shit? Man, grow some fucking nuts, man. We need to get tougher in this community. We look like a damn joke right now. We over here crying about all of this beta male shit, okay? And that's why I want to switch the entire narrative to Game of Thrones comparisons, because I want y'all to get in the mindset of somebody. Big Brother is like being at war. You got your alliance, they got their alliance. Let's get it popping, okay? Sometimes you win some and sometimes you win some and you pound it on. Sometimes you lose some and you got to retreat. But at the end of the day, all these personal shots and shit, and y'all on Twitter sensationalizing it and giving it more power. I mean, niggas is out here sending shit to TMZ because someone body shamed Josh. He's a grown man. If he can't think of a witty response to someone body shaming him, he shouldn't be in the damn house. End of story, okay? End of story. And now I want to get into Christmas. Cersei Rousey. I want to get into you, Christmas, because she was talking a big game as if she would never use her temptation. I would rather have it for later on in this week, Paul. Little finger, I'd rather have it for later this week. You know, she's talking a big game, and now Christmas after, okay, so to give you guys a quick little recap, you guys will see it later today during the veto competition, well, before the veto competition even happens. Christmas used it, okay, to make sure my nigga Jon Snow, Cody, to make sure he couldn't compete. See, they scared of Jon Snow, man. You know nothing, Jon Snow. They are scared of my dude, Jon Snow, because they know when he comes through with that Valyrian steel, ain't nobody checking him. Nobody. But anyway, so yeah, so she uses her temptation to make sure Cody can't play. Cody's name did get picked from what I'm being told. She replaced that with herself and like one other person, and she knows she can't compete in these comps, so she just replaced him with herself because she knew she could just say, oh, I don't want the veto, right? And I don't blame Jessica for being pissed off about this gameplay move. Christmas, how can you make this move and think Jess is crazy for assuming it is personal? It feels personal. You use a temptation America gave you simply just to make sure Jess went home. Now, what if Jess wins this veto? Bet money Christmas the first person like, see, I just wanted you to win it. I'm glad you did. And now you prove you could do something without Cody. And she's going to try to flip it as if, Jess, you've been the brains of this operation this whole time. You're stronger than Cody. This is why you didn't need Cody in the first place. And she's going to try to do all of this pseudo fake ass feminist manipulation tactics on Jess. And it's not going to work. Because, damn it, Jess knows y'all motherfuckers is fake. This reminds me of college. In college, I had a whole bunch of people I didn't get along with. But see, the great thing about college is you could have people in your dorm hall, in your wing. You could have people that you don't like, that you don't have to converse. Well, that's not a word. That you don't have to associate with, right? So you could constantly leave the damn wing, go somewhere else, go down to the bottom floor watching TV with a whole bunch of women, or go up to the women's floor if you really Casanova about it. But all in all, that's the way it was set up in college. So I always had an opportunity to just walk away when I didn't like people. Big brother, you don't get that opportunity. So when someone has it drilled in their head that you're an asshole, you're not going to be able to undrill that out of their head with words, especially when your action shows you're a fucking Paul puppet. You're a fucking Paul puppet. And that's why I call this episode Fire and Ice, because this is essentially a whole bunch of people trying to take control of Westeros. Westeros is the house. It's a whole bunch of people doing a whole bunch of different tactics. But you know what's the common denominator out of everyone's tactics? Everyone does things that are in the best interest of Paul without realizing they're in the best interest of Paul, which makes it worse. Because if Josh was as good at this game as y'all claim that he is, wouldn't Josh be smart enough to at least set up this week differently? Okay? If you're HOH and you really want to target Elena, then say it to the whole house during the nomination speech. That way, no one can lie to no one. No secrets are being kept from anyone. But trying to keep Paul in the dark, I mean, Paul knows everything because you tell him everything. And now I'm hearing that Josh is planning on doing some type of eviction goodbye message with the pots and pans. And I'm like, man, how is this shit not corny to y'all on Twitter, man? This shit should be fucking corny, okay? Corny as hell, okay? Maybe it just takes me to call the shit corny. Because right now it feels like ever since Dom left, people of color are acting like everything Josh does, and Ramsey's to a certain degree, people are acting like everything Josh does is somehow amazing just because he's the last one left. He's the last of the Mohicans, so we should all root for it, even if it's buffoonery. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. So I want to get into this Christmas and Josh situation because Christmas, she's talking a big game like, this isn't the Paul show. This is Big Brother. This isn't Paul's house. This is the Big Brother house. And my whole opinion on all of this is, Christmas, I'm thinking from the perspective of, Christmas, yeah, this might be the Big Brother house, but y'all have shown no action that this isn't Paul's house. Right now, this is House Beta Hamian. This is House Beta Hamian. You know, you see those banners in the air? This is House Beta Hamian, okay? And there's some person who telegraphed, I'm gonna go up to the CBS studio and I'm gonna shout some stuff about how Raven needs to go. And I don't know if it's a woman who did this or a guy that does this, but I'm going to call bullshit. Because my bullshit radar is going ding, ding, ding. Okay, who the fuck tells the world when they're about to do something, then when they aren't able to do it, be quick and be Johnny on the spot to tell everyone, oh, I tried, everyone, but there was a guard outside who saw me, so I had to run. There's no proof that you even attempted it. Which is why I feel it's very stupid to tell people what you're going to do before you do it. That's like me sending everyone who watches my videos the notes to my show. Then when I don't talk about everything in my notes, they have a reason to be pissed. Why tell everyone what you're going to talk about anyway? Let them be surprised by it. The same way last week, there was someone who came out of the woodworks and said, America loves Jess. Paul is a bully, or some shit like that, or whatever. You know, that motherfucker didn't get on Twitter and say, hey, guys, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk up with a megaphone and I'm gonna yell some stuff. And then there's people underneath the comment section like, oh, try again tomorrow, man. Like, that shit's dead now, man. Big brother, shut that shit down, bro. Like, I just think it's lame for someone to go out of their way. It's like this person wanted followers or something, or they wanted retweets or something. We don't care about what you plan on doing. We care about what you did already, okay? That's what Twitter is about most of the time. You know what I'm saying? People talking about what they've already done. But anyway, I just wanted to get into that real quick because I thought that shit was real goofy. And I call bullshit. I don't think you actually went up there at all. I think you're just looking for attention here. But yeah, so at the end of the day, man, Raven and Matt, they are a Paul number. Kevin, I still think he's for the best bidder, but for the most part, Jason and Alex, that's a Paul number. Josh and Christmas talk a big game as if they want Jess and Cody on their side. Because see, here's the thing that Josh isn't really taking into account. If you're going to choose Christmas over Paul, Josh, you need to be cognizant of the fact that you're ass in competitions and Christmas can't compete in half of the competitions. Okay? So that means two people in your alliance already are liabilities and comps. So that means somebody has to win these comps to keep you safe. And that's why he's so scared to flip on Paul, ladies and gentlemen. It's because in the back of his mind, he knows if he flips on Paul and Elena does go home, okay, he knows Cody can keep himself safe. And he knows if Cody wins HOH, he'll keep Jess safe, or vice versa. But he knows that him turning on that group and how badly they treated him at the beginning of the season, he knows that they can revert right back to that same behavior. And then all of a sudden, he turns back into Theon. He turns back into Reek, okay? Josh is doing all of this buffoonery to never be treated like Reek again. And that's where I want to get to with you, the audience. I want you all to realize that it's not so much that he is so loyal to anyone. No one is really loyal to him, right? And that's why he cries so much. He probably went into this game assuming he would have that ride or die second player on his side and yada, yada. But he also probably didn't predict he'd come into this game acting like such a fucking pussy. Okay? I've already told y'all I think he has tons of female traits. He does. The guy does. That's not me being homophobic or nothing like that. I'm just calling it like it is. He doesn't have an alpha bone in his body. Okay? I heard he sells hair products. That doesn't sound too fly to me, personally. And that explains a lot when I watch his gameplay. His gameplay is of someone who never wants to confront their problems head on. And if he does, he needs a cheerleading section behind him. He needs someone with rootable interest to, go ahead, Josh, you can do it. You know, but if the people rooting for you are the same people that could give a fuck about you in 2 weeks, then what are you doing it for them for? And doing what you're doing isn't helping your game, which is why I want you Josh fans to just admit it. Your boy is stuck in quicksand right now, man. Theon is out here jumping off of ships, swimming away from the fight. That's what this nigga Josh is doing. And y'all are defending him for it because, well, he knew he couldn't win the fight. I mean, what do you want him to do, die? Like, that's what y'all do. Y'all constantly give him an excuse for poor gameplay. Poor gameplay. Maybe the worst gameplay we've seen. You know, from a beginning to end perspective, from a beginning to the 6-week perspective, I'd say he's definitely up there with a Lawan Exum. I mean, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Josh is a terrible player. And see, y'all seen me say negative things about Jessica in the past in her game. Don't think because I am throwing shade at Theon that all of a sudden I'm not willing to admit that Jess is also playing bad at this game. No one is truly playing great at this game besides maybe Paul. That's about it. No one's really playing great at this game besides Paul. But see, Paul is a vet. So we're almost on a learning curve with the rest of these house guests based off of the tone that has been set by Paul. So if you knock Paul out of it, who is playing the game second best? And if all of them are really playing the game in shambles, then you have to admit it, Josh fans. Jess is playing the second best game. Ain't that a motherfucker? Ain't that a motherfucker? And you know why Jess is playing the second best game? She's playing the second best game because she's staying true to herself, okay? Jason, you think he would take orders from a 24-year-old? Hell no. Kevin, hell no. And I got to get into Kevin because I'm starting to get tired of Kevin too. It seems like everyone overblows all of Kevin's jokes, all of his jokes. They sensationalize them. They dramatize them. They act as if because Kevin is an old guy saying these lame jokes. All right, put it this way. I'll say this to y'all, okay? This is the placebo effect. Take a joke that Kevin says, put it in Jason's body, who's still an older man. Do y'all laugh? I definitely won't see y'all quoting the whole joke and it getting over 1,000 retweets. It's something about Kevin specifically. It's not just his age. There's something about Kevin that makes a lot of people dick ride him. And honestly, from a game perspective, I'm not seeing it. He's just a dude who just coasts. He's just a floater. But all in all, though, I just would like to know if any of these jokes that Kevin says that would be normally corny if someone else said it, let's be real. If someone like Jason, a father around the same kind of age group, if someone like Jason said the same thing, would all of you parade around with it and act like it's so golden, if it's so great? Would you act like that? I doubt it. Kevin right now, he's playing a good game in terms of making the fans like him and the people in the house like him. But Kevin is someone who very easily could spearhead some type of an insurrection in the game. But even with the 25K, he's still too scared to do it. He'd rather see everyone go from the other side, then have them all there, then have Paul dictate, and then hopefully they cannibalize each other, involving in Paul going. But I just don't understand the idea of allowing someone like Raven to make jury. This is your only chance to take someone with maybe one of the most difficult arguments to go up against in a final two scenario. This is your chance to take her out. And y'all are so busy worried about Jess clapping back over the petty shit you've done to her already. Like, you have to separate your game from your feelings. And while the same people who hate Jess constantly talk about how she's incapable of separating her game from her feelings, they give Paul's side the wherewithal and they give them the license to be able to separate their game from their feelings. Paul's side is always allowed to conduct themselves on feelings, to make everything personal. The minute Jess does it with Cody, it's the end of the damn world, you know? And I just don't understand it, man. I just don't understand it. There's so many hypocrisy. There's so much habitual line stepping going on right now in this season that I just want all of you to come together. And I want us to just stop fighting on Twitter, man. Let's stop fighting over who said the worst thing about the other person. If they both said something fucked up, they're both fucked up people, okay? There's people bringing up that Josh has degrees outside of the house. What does that matter? What does that have to do with his gameplay? Like, you're giving him credit for graduating from college when we're talking about Big Brother? Like, I don't give a fuck who graduated from where. It's Big Brother. I want to see somebody play the game. I ain't never asked what degree Dan had. We've always known Dr. Will was a doctor, but did we really care what he did in his normal day life? No, we care about what these motherfuckers do in the house. Shit, Jess is out here getting paid out here in these streets, okay? You know, she a concierge or some shit. I can't remember. But at the end of the day, though, I don't care if she graduated either. Like, why do people bring up all of this outside irrelevant shit just to defend a guy who can't even defend himself in the game? Josh can't defend himself. Anytime Josh resorts to pots and pans, please know it. It's production interference. It's them telling him, hey, you should do it again, Josh. It's Christmas and it's Paul. Those are his three support systems in the game. He don't give a fuck about Matt, Raven, Alex, Jason. He don't give a fuck about none of them. You can tell by this week alone, he don't really give a fuck about none of them, okay? So his support system is Christmas, Paul, ironically, the two people with any type of a fan base outside the house before the game even started, and production, the ones who basically created this season to guarantee Paul and Christmas could make it to the end. So maybe Josh is another mole. Maybe he's the ringer. Maybe he's the person I've been overlooking this whole time. Because I told this to Nessa on Twitter. I said, honestly, Cody, the person I don't like, but the game player is badass. I have to admit that. I can separate how I view the person to how I view the player, the character, right? Seems like Paul's side, they well, Paul's fans, the friendship cult's fan base, for the most part, I call the friendship cult, I call them the Lannisters. Okay, so the Lannister fan base, it seems like all of you, for the most part, can't separate the player from the person, right? Josh, the person, I don't have a problem with him as the person. I think the person that Josh is badass, which is why I was a fan of his before the game started. Clearly, I like the person he is, but the player is a fucking douchebag and a pussy and a beta male. And everyone wants to hold the fact that Jessica is a super fan against her. Wait a minute. Josh is the motherfucker talking into the cameras every fucking 5 minutes, trying to talk to Ika Wong and shit. I mean, come on now. He's just as much a super fan as Jess is, but at least Jess is enough of a super fan to know we have to stop the powers that be from controlling things. Josh is like, I'll go along with it. I just want my TV time. Meatballs. Like, the shit makes you look a little slow, bro. I'm being real with you. It does, dog. Like, I mean, in a goodbye message, Josh, you got to do that during a goodbye message, my G. Is that necessary? And that's why y'all Josh fans got to admit it. The nigga's petty, but he's petty like a female is. A man ain't this petty, especially trying to get back at a woman. A man is not this petty. When a man tries to get back at a woman, what does he do? He gets a better looking woman. He makes boss moves. When Josh tries to get back at a woman, he stoops down to the woman's level and then gets petty with her. Come on, man. Come on, man. Hey, all y'all real brothers, y'all know what I'm talking about. Josh has been behaving like a female. Let's just call a spade a spade. You out here trying to get even with a girl that's like 5'2", my G. But then Mark gets in your face. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. I plead the fifth. Don't touch me. You know? It's like, And what's so interesting is Mark tried to come at your head, bro. And you didn't even want to target him this week. You wanted to target Elena. That also shows a flaw in Josh's character. Theon, Reek. What's wrong, Reek? But see, this is what I've been trying to tell everybody, man. Y'all keep trying to position Josh to be this villain. He's not a villain. He's a court jester, man. He's the guy when it's trial by combat time. Josh is the motherfucker standing next to Cersei trying to hand her a letter that was sent by a crow or a raven. You know what I'm saying? That's Josh's job. Josh in Game of Thrones would not be anyone calling any shots, okay? Like, for really, though. But the way y'all support this man, you would think this motherfucker is the Mountain, Sir Bronn. You would think he's somebody, Jamie. You would think he's somebody that's out here doing work in these streets. He ain't doing a damn thing, okay? And that's why Dom should still be America's favorite player, because once again, another shitty week after Dom is gone. I keep telling y'all, the game keeps getting more toxic, more toxic. Now, granted, last week was as toxic as it's gonna pretty much get. That was its boiling point right there. I think we're gonna be one stage below that for the rest of the game, because this week it looks like Jess is gone. So if Jess is gonna be gone this week, then Cody, he's gonna probably just beat her himself. He might speak to Mark, but Mark is talking like a fake ass mother. Well, Mark is always talking like fake. So I guess Mark is talking normal, I guess. But at the end of the day, man, Josh and Christmas talk such a good game about how, oh, Paul is so close to Elena. She's dangerous. Elena, she's cool with Cody and Jessica. She's cool with you and me, Christmas. She's cool with Paul. She's cool with Matt and Raven. She's cool with everybody. We need to go ahead and knock her out. Okay, Josh, if that's what you really wanted to do, you should have went over to Cody and Jess and you should have told them. You should have went with Christmas too. And that way, if you did it then, Christmas would have had more confidence in knowing she could have kept her temptation and not had to use it, knowing that she would have had at least a group of 4 to go against Paul going into next week. But you two, number one, Christmas with that squeaky fucking wheel, she can't sneak around nowhere. So it's kind of hard for her to make moves, right? That's why she needs Paul so much to get it done for her, all right? And Josh, the thing is, Josh, he can never be the person who creates the deal. He will never be the agent, okay? He will never play that role in the game because he has burned so many bridges with so many people that he needs a mediator. He needs someone to come through that at least hasn't burned the bridge all the way to say, hey, look, we can create a new bridge that won't get burned down. Listen to me. Look, Josh is with me. As long as I'm in the game, he will not do that to you again. But it's almost like everyone has to speak for Josh like he's a little fucking kid. And the same people that are speaking up for Josh like he's a little fucking kid are the same people acting like they're friends with him. Meanwhile, you Josh fans would rather be mad at Jess and Cody, who at least can toughen Josh up to the real world in real life. I mean, Josh is 23 years old. I've talked about this in the past, right? I've talked about how I'm 26. I wasn't the same person I was back then, yada, 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 yada. Well, this is the moment for Reek to become Theon again, okay? This is his moment. He has an opportune moment right now. He has one more day. Even though it seems like Jess is gone and he's already done the goodbye message, a great player would find a way to make a big move in between Wednesday night and Thursday. That's where the greatest players truly shine, that one day in between. That's where the Dans, the Evil Dicks, that's where the Wills, to a certain extent, that's where the Vanessa Russos, players like that, the Daniel Reyeses, that is the day where players make their biggest moves, their biggest plays. But it just seems like Josh, as an HOH, he's conducted himself. Look, he wants to wear the robe and he wants to walk around like he's the dude with the key on his neck. But he don't want to actually make moves to benefit him for future in the game. I've never seen someone with an HOH do as little work to position themselves into the future as Josh did this week. I don't think he's done nowhere near the amount of legwork that he should have been doing. If he was not talking to Christmas, he was talking to Paul. He had multiple opportunities to talk to Jess, to truly get her on his side. But let's just be real. All of you Josh fans that think Jess is an idiot for not listening to Josh, let me ask you this question. You guys seem to be the ones who will never forgive Cody for all of his past actions and transgressions, right? Okay, so let's say you were in the Big Brother house. Let's say Cody said all of these things you don't agree with. And let's say Cody walks up to you and he says, hey, I want to get out so-and-so. I want you to work with me. Would you immediately just drop everything that you're doing, forget everything he said about you negatively in the past, and then just join him on the fly, take that leap of faith just because he's HOH? Or would you do what Jess did and say, fuck you, because you've proven to me in the past that you're a Paul puppet? You guys would do the same thing Jess did too. And that's why I had to call all of you out on this in this podcast, in this rant, because all of y'all motherfuckers are habitually line stepping. And it has to be me to put you all on blast. I don't want to be this guy. But I mean, damn, I literally was away from the feeds for a while. I was just chilling. Sometimes I go on Twitter just to see if there's something I need to jump on the feeds for, right? And all I'm hearing is body shaming, bullying, body shaming. Cody is transphobic. He's against blacks. He went to Ferguson, which I've already stated is why I don't like Cody the person. Do I respect what he's done for the military? Yes, undoubtedly, indubitably. But at the same time, though, what has Josh done outside this game? Yeah, Cody has done some fucked up things. This is true. But he's also done some positive things that may have saved some lives. What has Josh done? Now, to a Josh fan, they're going to think that question is unfair. Well, Josh wasn't in the position to save any lives. Well, if he wasn't in the position to save any lives, doesn't it behoove him in this game to not be a buffoon? You know, sounds like in his normal life, he's a pretty nice guy, well-going guy. Why is it so hard for him to be that person in the house? It's because he started off the game pissing off a lot of people by bullying Megan. And since none of us really had the feeds to really know what happened before he bullied Megan and after he bullied Megan, we don't really know the truth there. We don't know if Josh is the one who really spearheaded all of the bullying in the house. We have no way of truly knowing it. All we know is Megan was the easy target. Josh went for the golden apple, made sure everyone on his team wouldn't be safe anymore. You know, couldn't have immunity, but he made sure he got it. You know, he was so worried about himself. And that's the true reason why Josh got bullied, because he showed he was a selfish human being from the start. How are you going to build an alliance with a guy who from day one shows everyone in the house he's only in it for himself? So you Josh fans, you Reek fans, you Theon fans, you can keep trying to change the narrative up as if Josh is this huge victim, but let's be real. Cody and Jess may have done some things at the beginning of the game to ruin their game, but what they did was actual game moves that ruined their game. Josh, he didn't even do a game move to ruin his game. Now, I know you could say, well, getting the golden apple technically is a game move because it made him immune. But that wasn't what truly ruined his game. It was that and the fact that he bullied Megan right after. Think about it. If he just gets the golden apple and he's safe and he just explains why he did it behind closed doors and plays the game of Big Brother instead of blowing up on Megan the way he did, okay? And Megan wasn't HOH anyway. I don't know how Megan's going to put Josh up if Cody doesn't like Megan either. But we're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that, ladies and gentlemen. I think this was before Cody won HOH anyway. This is when Paul... No. Yeah, I think this was before Cody won HOH. Yeah, this is when he was competing, I think, for the HOH versus Paul or whatnot. But all in all, ladies and gentlemen, still though, okay, I have broken down to the T the reasons for why Josh ain't shit, okay? It's okay for y'all to think Cody and Jess ain't shit. I'm not telling you that the words I say should be recited and memorized, but I'm just letting you know that even though you have problems with Cody, just know that you have problems with Cody the person, not Cody the game player. Please separate those two things, because then we get into this weird twilight zone of judging everybody exactly as they are all the time, okay? And look, Aaron said some fucked up shit in BB15. I held that against the person and the character at the time because I was a younger person. Now I know to hold that against the actual person and not the character, right? But at the time, her character was better off doing those things, surrounded by all of those enablers that was willing to allow that racist shit to go down. The same way Paul's alliance is filled with a whole bunch of racist enablers. And guess what? Even though Josh was there to console Dom, he never was willing to risk his game to save her. So what does that say about Josh? What does that say about the guy that you guys defend all the time? What does that really say about him? It says that he's not that different from Ramses. In fact, he's more similar to Ramses than he isn't. but I just wanted to break all of that down for y'all, because now all of a sudden Josh is the N-word, and now all of a sudden everyone wants to claim Josh is black. Y'all peep that too. I know y'all peep that. A lot of people want me to talk about this shit too, because it's interesting. It's interesting, right? I've never really called out Josh for anything. I'm okay with a guy saying he's Cuban. As long as he doesn't go out of his way to say I'm not black, I don't have a problem with it. And that's why I didn't make Josh the brunt of any of my negative criticism. Well, I guess criticism can only be, constructive criticism can be positive. But that's the reason why Josh didn't catch the same hell Ramses caught from me from day one. I mean, my first rant, I came out swinging with them hot takes, right? Scalding with the T, scalding. But yeah, so all in all, man, I just wish Josh would just be himself more, man. I know it's hard to be yourself when you're surrounded with an alliance that was so easily just throws people of color out the window. I know it's hard. And I know he's got to do what he can to fit in with people that he probably knows in the back of his mind these people don't really like him, you know? But at the same time, though, if no one truly likes you in the house, you know, and you've already made jury by winning this HOH, it behooved Josh immediately to start making huge moves. Because even if you turn on Paul, Paul needs you as part of his win condition. He needs you at the end of the game. He needs you, because if he's sitting next to you, no one will give Josh a vote. So Josh, of all people, is the main guy who needs to be swinging, because out of everyone in the game, Josh isn't a threat to win. And that's what pisses me off. And that's why when people all of a sudden want to say he's half black all of a sudden, it goes back to what I was saying about Dom. To be proud and black, to be upfront about your blackness, does you such a bad thing in this game. It is truly a curse on you in this game. To shy away from your blackness and hide it into a certain degree, cloak it behind a whole bunch of other stuff, it pushes you along much further in this game. And I just feel like look, as a black man, I don't have a problem with Josh saying the N-word at all. I want to be on code with everyone by saying that. But at the same time, I think this is more propaganda from that group of people, the same group of people who try to subliminally throw what happened to Dom underneath the rug by hitting up TMZ and talking about Mark being some white bully on Josh. I think this is just more of them trying to create a new scandal that will overtake the Dom one. Because there's a lot of people who are still thinking about Dom right now. And there are people trying to counteract them, still wanting Dom to have some type of retribution. There are still some people that are trying to create things to distract us from what truly happened to Dom. And that's just not going to happen to me. That's not going to happen to Recency Bias Radio. That's not going to happen with my subscribers. And that's not going to happen with my viewers. Because we're not dumb enough to just say, oh, look at this new shiny object, and then forget your toy from the last Christmas. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to happen, man. But all in all, man, Josh, man, we don't believe you. You need more people. The same thing goes for Miss Cersei Lannister Christmas. And I really want to break down her using this temptation and the ramification that it has in this game. So let's say Christmas saves her temptation. Okay, let's say she doesn't use it. Cody gets picked for the veto. Now, I don't know what the veto comp was. I'm sure all of you watching know by now because you were watching the feeds. But let's say Cody wins it. He takes off Jess. Now, here's the thing. If Josh really wanted Elena to go home, doesn't it behoove Josh, the HOH, to make sure Christmas doesn't use the temptation? And here's another thing. Christmas had this temptation since week 2, basically, right? Why should Josh look at her as a true ally to him if she told Paul as soon as she got it, and she just ups and uses the shit out of nowhere when she could have not used it and it could have helped what Josh wanted as the HOH? She went directly against the HOH's wishes. And now she expects the former HOH that's going out on Thursday to work with her against Paul. Like, Christmas, do you realize that the game move you made could have accidentally pushed Josh closer towards Paul? Like, why aren't people discussing this shit? You know? And it's because everyone is so fixated with the bullying, the body shaming. Like, let's talk about strategy. I don't give a fuck about all these other details, man. They miscellaneous. I care about the strategy. That's what you care about because you're here with me. So strategically, it made 0 sense for Christmas to use this temptation this week. It made 0 sense. It's like, huh? Like Josh, first off, if Jess gets off the block, you don't have to replace her with a nom anyway. So then Mark or Elena goes home. Doesn't Christmas hate Mark and Elena the most right now in the house? That move would have helped Christmas's game the most. That's number one. Number two, it would have helped the HOH because it would have been the move he wanted. Number three, it would have pissed off Paul. So it would have been the move all of the fans wanted. Christmas did a move that in 3 ways pissed off the fans, pissed off the HOH, and pissed off her own game, her own win conditions. So at this point, she's pulling a Cersei. She's pulling a Cersei. You know, Cersei right now, no spoilers, but Cersei at the end of the day, great tactician. You know, great tactician. Can think as well as any man can, which makes her very, very, very worthy of being queen one day. But when you're dealing with fucking dragons, okay, the dragons are the fans, baby. We support Daenerys Targaryen, okay? We support Jess because Jess is trying to upset the apple cart. Fans, that's all we care about. Please upset this fucking apple cart, man. We do not want to see a guy control the game from day 1 to day 95 or whatever the fuck, okay? We saw it with Derek. Look, kudos to him, but it was boring. And that's why I do not want to see, this is gonna be some shit that's gonna make a lot of people mad. I don't think police officers should be allowed to play Big Brother or Survivor. I believe they have too much training in the field of lying, in the field of deceiving, They have way too much training in that field. It gives them too much of an advantage. Even poker players, to a certain degree, I think have too much of an advantage. But police officers, definitely, I don't think it's fair. And that's why Derek made it look so easy, because he was just playing undercover cop the whole fucking season. Okay? But all in all, though, what it really comes down to is Josh and Christmas. You can't blame nobody for what happened this week but yourself. And you can go ahead and make fun of Jess as much as you want to, Josh fans and the Christmas fans. I mean, all the Christmas fans, for the most part, they seem to be respectful, real classy. I can't say nothing bad about them. But the Josh fans, you guys are getting out of hand here, okay? Like, Fire and Ice, A Song of Fire and Ice has nothing to do with Theon, ladies and gentlemen, okay? This season has nothing to do with him. This season has to do with Jess and Cody. This is the Jess and Cody season, which is why this rant is called Fire and Ice, because they are Fire and Ice. That's who Jess and Cody is, okay? And you can say whatever you want to besmirch their character and take away from what they've given us on these feeds, take away from what they're giving us on these TV shows. But at the end of the day, if there was no Jess and Cody for you all to hate, y'all wouldn't even be this into this season. So, and the season's already trash. So just imagine if there was no Jess and no Cody and there was Cameron and Jillian in their place. Oh my God. Oh my God. It'd be even worse, right? So, yeah, man, I'm just saying, though, be thankful for Jess and Cody, because they might not be together after tomorrow. So stop throwing all this shade towards her, you know, and appreciate her while she's still here, because she's going to be on another season, okay? If Nicole got on another season, if Davon got another, no disrespect to my black queen, but I'm going to call a spade a spade. Jason Roy and Davon shouldn't have got a second chance. Oh, Dave, whoa, hold on now. Dave, wait a minute. This goes against your whole pro-black argument that you built up. No, I'm just being unbiased here, and I'm keeping it real. What did Davon do in BB17 to deserve a second chance? She had an argument with Audrey. Her and Jason Roy figured out the twin twist. What did she do? Nothing. What did Jason Roy do to deserve OTT honors? Nothing. So I want us to start picking people that are worthy of playing a second time, like people who people actually want to tune in for. Don't just pick someone because they represent a race of people. Like the whole James thing. I think a lot of people are fans of him, but they picked him because he was an Asian Donnie. Let's just call a spade a spade. He was the Donnie archetype, but he was Asian. So it felt like even more rare casting. You'll probably never find another James ever again. But that's a little off subject. But all in all, though, this isn't the Josh show. He wants it to be the Josh show. But I'll tell you this, Josh. Here's a few pointers before I get into predictions. If you want this to be a show about you, Josh, you need to start conducting yourself like a grown man. And you need to stop using the actions of others as the reason for why you consistently remain to be immature. That's the key. Because that's Big Brother. You know, the same way Paul will act like the way they're treating Jess and Cody is just Big Brother. Oh, it's just a pressure cooker, man. It's part of the game. Apply pressure. You know, he says that shit, but meanwhile, he allows Josh to cry about the pressure cooker that's being put on him. And most of the pressure cooker that's been put on Josh has been put on him by not only Jess and Cody, but Paul's side as well. So it's just interesting how Paul thinks the pressure cooker is just disrespectful and so disgusting when it's done to one of his own. But then when it's done to Jess and Cody, it's, oh, they had it coming to them. So, look, man, the people that y'all been rooting for, man, look, man, it's the pot calling the kettle black. No pun intended. But let's get into predictions now, because I feel like I'm damn near an hour into this. But goddamn, I've been ranting. Woo! Woo! But hot take McGee in this bitch. But all right, so it's Wednesday. The video competition is gonna air tonight. I'm definitely gonna tune into it because I want to see what went down that led to what happened. I want to see how Christmas unveiled her shit. I want to see if she like has to use her crutches to stand up when she unleashes the temp. Like, I just want to see how awkward it looks. I want to see how many people know what's going to happen ahead of time, how many people are shocked, and I want to see if Josh is completely shocked as the HOH. Now, most likely she's going to tell him right before, because she's going to be a little bit worried about losing Josh by not telling him this pertinent information. But at the same time, though, it still should fuck Christmas up in the long run for using this temptation. She was better off saving it. And that's just really the problem I have with Josh. He should have the wherewithal to know that from a game perspective, Christmas saving that temptation for another day would have benefited Josh's game exponentially. But by her using it right now to get rid of Jess, even though he has these little minor qualms with Jess, he still put it out into the ether that he wants Elena gone. And now Paul, in the future, whenever he sees fit and Elena wins HOH, he could just tell her that Josh wanted you out. And because now Paul has that information, everyone tells Paul too much information. They don't know how to withhold just enough information, right? Even Kevin has told Paul too much information. So because all of them have told him so much information, they feel like that they owe their allegiance to him or else they'll be outed. And Josh is no different. So now that Josh is caught up in this situation with Christmas, Josh needs to realize that after Jess goes, his best shot, honestly, I mean, first off, he doesn't have a shot at winning. So that might just be the reason why he's just going to coast it. I truly believe that Josh, to a certain degree, has given up on winning. And that's the saddest part. Like, I can't root for a guy that gave up on winning the game. And Josh, he's given up on winning it. But all in all, though, it behooves Josh considerably after Jess leaves. Okay, so what are we going to have? We're going to have Cody, Elena, Mark. For the most part, I guess those are the three on the outs. So predictions-wise, what we need to happen is for Cody to win HOH. But see, the problem is, I know what's going to happen. Cody, he's going to be in such a rage because Jess goes. It's going to be up to Big Brother to pick a competition. That's a good competition. But because the temptation comp is still going along, I suspect that it'll be another comp that Christmas can do. So it's going to be probably around the A and B side of the game. Now the thing is, if Cody wins it, I don't think Cody should take anyone's opinion into consideration with these noms. Anyone's. Just nominate some people, Cody. Like, at this point, don't give a fuck. Of course, he has to wait for the temptation comp to end, but just stop caring, bro. Just stop caring, all right? Just stop caring. Because at this point, they don't care. So you shouldn't care, right? Like, just nominate Paul, Raven. You know what I'm saying? If neither one of them wins the temptation comp, nominate Paul and Raven, work for the veto, take the third nom off, and just try to get Paul the fuck out the house. That's the only solution Cody has. Now, when it comes to Elena and Mark, I don't even know what their game plan is. Surely they should have known that Jess and Cody would go home before them regardless, but they've been playing the game to the point where they actually think that they'll be spared in a couple of weeks after Cody leaves. And it's like, no, that's not going to happen. You guys are going to be the next ones because no one in Paul's alliance is going to want to target anyone in that alliance first. Everyone's going to want to be the person that doesn't have HOH when everyone else is gone on the other side. That way, all of them could just look at you as the person who turned on everyone. So now whoever your next to kin is, those two become the next two targets. And that's exactly how the shit is most likely going to shake down. But honestly, Christmas, you can talk to Jess as much as you want about how this wasn't personal, but it was. All those confessionals of you on CBS, when Jess is just trying to mend fences with you and trying to talk to you and trying to apologize to her, and you won't even let her apologize. You're just coming back at her with smart remarks and shit. That was the true Cersei coming out. You've been acting as if that you've been close to Jess, but in reality, no. You've just been keeping your options a little bit open, but in reality, you didn't really have it in you to turn on Paul. You didn't. You were just kind of flirting with the idea, and you using that temptation shows everyone, and it will show the world tonight that you were never considering working with Jess. And whatever confessional she gets tonight or tomorrow, it's all bullshit. She'll probably get a goodbye message too. They're going to give a goodbye message to a lot of motherfuckers that don't like Jess because they want to position them to America's eyes as being someone who is humble or someone who's a nice person who just was on opposite sides of the house. They do it all the time. Same reason why they did it for Kevin with Ramses, you know. And before we end this, I do have to get into one more thing. So I'm hearing someone tweeted me some shit about how Ramses was recently hanging out at some bar or some shit. I call it the nigga wake-up call, ladies and gentlemen. Ramses has done so much cooning. He's done so much to tell people he isn't black. He's done a lot of things to truly ruin his reputation in the black community. From what I'm being told, he was at some place. I don't know if he was at a bar, if he was at a party, if he was at just some random function. But allegedly, he was around some white folks that yelled out white power. And he said he wanted to just pinch them. Some shit like that. My whole thing about this is, man, that's that coon karma, ain't it? What do you want to pinch them for, Ramses? If the house guest would have said the same thing inside the damn house, you would have laughed it off. You're not black. So for all we know, you could be a suspected white supremacist anyway. Just a little darker tone to you. You know what I'm saying? But I just found that to be an interesting story. Like, all of a sudden, Ramses is against white people? That's interesting. You know? Like, and that's why, just like the situation with the woman who said she was going to the Big Brother house and then she got stopped by the guard, and then, you know, she acts like, oh, I tried, but it didn't work out for me, yada, yada. The same way I said that was some bullshit early on in the season. Ramses, on this other shit, he bullshitting. I'm willing to bet y'all this story never even existed. This is the hot take of all hot takes. I think Ramses created this story as a fabrication to try to garner some type of sympathy from black people to work his way back into our community. What better way to do that than to position yourself as somebody who's been wronged by white people? Now, all of a sudden, all the black people are like, oh, poor baby. Man, fuck that shit. Nigga, hold your own nuts. You ain't black, right? Then I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what they said to you. And that's how we all need to act. But come on now. My bullshit radar is going off again. You mean to tell me just out of nowhere, like a week and some change into Ramses being out of this house? Well, really about 2 weeks into him being out of this house, he's probably gone through enough text messages, enough tweets to realize people are throwing his name through the dust. Because a lot of these people, when they get out the house, they just type in their name and then they type in the hashtag, the BB19, and they just scroll down to see what people have been saying about them. So in 2 weeks' time, he could have seen enough shit of people saying he's a damn coon to now come up with a strategy to counteract that, which is why I'm calling bullshit on you, Ramses. So I would like to end this episode, this rant, fire and ice, by saying, Ramses, your bullshit ain't flying at Recency Bias Radio. We see through all that shit with our third eye. So you can miss me with that shit, man. Enjoy the off season, my G. You won't be back on the show. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this rant, my 10th rant. You know, I wanted to do a long one for you guys because you guys have really stuck it out with me. 9 rants, and now the 10th one. This one is probably about an hour long. I mean, I started around like 1:20. It's like 2:30. God damn. If this motherfucker's 70 minutes, I would be like, well, damn. But I hope you all enjoyed yourself. It's really sad that it looks like Jess is going to be going home, man. But this all goes back to what I told y'all. She should have saved Dom. She should have saved Dom. We need to stop crying over shit that has already happened. But at the same time, though, we need to think of this as if Dom is in the house, it's still someone that goes home before she does, regardless. And if Dom is in the house, that's someone who could have gave her some type of intel to be able to target someone besides Ramses and Josh, her HOH week. You know, and yeah, last week she wouldn't have had her temptation, yada, yada, yada. But there's no guarantee with this temptation comp. There is no guarantee that Jess or Cody would have been the target last week without the temptation if we still have Dom in the house. And we know if Dom's still in the house and they target someone besides Josh and Ramses, Josh isn't as pissed off as them and Ramses is still in the house. So that means someone from Paul's side is gone. That's one less number there. That's a little bit more hysteria, more paranoia on his side, and yada, yada, yada. So once again, we need to vote for Dom for America's favorite player. But thank you all for listening. I am Dave Smith. This is Recency Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism. If you could, please like, share, subscribe, comment, the whole 9. I truly appreciate it. Also, you can check out my sports podcast. It's on iTunes and SoundCloud. And also, you can check out our fan page on Facebook. You can go ahead and like and follow us from that point further. So I truly appreciate it, man. We've had a lot of viewers in here, all podcasts, all rant. So I truly appreciate you all's support. I can only imagine how the chat room is booming. I try not to have the chat rooms up while I'm speaking because I think it alters my opinions. And it just might, you know, make me a little bit too fixated on what the views say. You know, and if there's a troll around, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to ignore the troll. You kind of want to just immediately attack that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? While you're talking. But all in all, thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoy the episode tonight. Enjoy the episode tomorrow. I will be back with another episode this weekend. It won't be the same amount of hiatus. I know y'all been waiting on it. Y'all been waiting on that crack. That crack. So yeah, once again, thank you for your viewership, and thank you to all the people who just keep coming back and commenting, man. I'm loving it. I'm loving this community that we're creating. I love the fact that a lot of you just put it all out there in the comment section, and you guys just speak your mind. Like, I'm over here reading comments. There's so many comments I have to go through, and it takes a lot of time, but it's worth it in the end because I just like debating Big Brother. So who knows? Maybe, you know, for the finale or something, maybe I'll do something big, and I'll get some of my favorite commenters, and I'll get you all in a Google Hangout with me, and we'll have a joint rant, a co-op rant. You know, I'll give each of you equal amount of time on the stage to shine, and we could just talk Big Brother, you know, build our own universe. You know what I mean? But other than that, that's all I really had to say. I'm about to enjoy my hump day. But all in all, I think I pretty much discussed everything I wanted to in terms of talking about all of the bullshit going on. But all in all, man, I just want all of you to enjoy yourselves, be smooth, be safe in these streets, man. Shit is getting real out here, and enjoy the weather, man, because it's not going to be this nice for much longer. So without further ado, I am Dave Smith. This is Recency Bias Radio. Sayonara, amigos.